Welcome back to Your Valley Sports Plugs Heat Check Podcast Live. I'm your host, Chris Patrick, with BSP Tallman and Michael Benjamin. Fellas, it is Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. Your Arizona State Sun Devils suffer their first loss of the season to Mississippi State, which now has them on the outside looking in on the top 25 at 1-1. They were ranked 12 going into week 2. The Arizona Cardinals tally a win in New Orleans week 1. We're going to have to talk about that, guys. Might need to take a look around the rest of the NFL as well and what we saw in week 1, but we'll see where the night takes us. Of course, we have to check in with your home team. The Arizona Diamondbacks are flirting with 500 and a run at the playoffs. Guys, do you believe in miracles? I don't know if I do, guys. I don't know. But before we get into all that, Tallman, Michael, how are we doing, guys? How are we doing?
Gentlemen, football is back. We say it every time, but when it officially hits, it's something special. And NFL Week 1 was one to remember, to be honest with you, man. Some solid games in prime time. And the Arizona Cardinals start 1-0 for the first time since 2021. Are we back? Tallman, are we back?
Oh, I don't know, man. Don't get ahead of yourself. But how you doing, fellas? Mike, you're absolutely right. Week 1 was crazy. But for me personally, FanDuel treated me like Jalen Carter, and they spit all over me. It was the most disrespect I've ever felt in my entire life. It was not a good week 1, absolutely, for my betting reasons. But it was a hell of a week, though. I mean, there were some good games. That Sunday night football game was, I mean, shit. That might already be game of the year candidate, right? But yeah, excited to wash my Jalen Carter experience, and hopefully I'll do some spitting.
Well, now it's funny because I texted these guys on Sunday morning and I said, what, no Tallman ticket? What the fuck? No Tallman ticket? I'm sorry, I'm dropping F-bombs in the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Man.
But
all right, restart.
All right, hold on, shut it down, restart.
No, yeah, I know.
But you got to shake off the rust, right?
Exactly, for sure. So, I mean, I didn't commit to it. I need my production team, right? So, I don't know. I'm thinking we start slow.
The production team.
You guys are the production team, right?
Hey,
so
even if you don't put a video together, we need some damn picks on Sunday, man. You can't fall flat on that. But
great,
Chris,
okay.
I mean, saying that and what he said earlier, probably thank God he didn't send us anything because we'd all be in the red. I actually turned out in the positive this weekend, so
yeah, I
didn't
win.
Great start for me.
There you go.
I didn't win a single one, so.
I kind of won one, but it only won me like $3 because it was like one of those like contest bet things. But what I was gonna say is, Tallman, I don't know if you noticed this, and correct me if I'm misunderstanding the new rule that FanDuel has implemented, but it sounds like if you have a parlay and the player you pick gets injured in the first quarter, it basically voids that leg of the parlay. So if all the other legs hit, but that guy got injured in the first quarter, they pay you out in bonus bets what it would have hit. So I was like, interesting. We'll see. I had one of those instances, and on Sunday morning, I woke up to like $23 in bonus bets because the Friday night game had done that or whatever.
Xavier Worthy, yeah.
It was Worthy.
Yeah, he only lasted like 3 snaps. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, I don't know if it's gonna pay out because it's not like immediate. And then like, so I didn't check on Saturday. I don't think I placed any bets. I was doing shit. But then on Sunday it happened. So anyway, all that to say, Mike, I am technically in the negative, but with the bonus bets, I still have like $18 in bonus bets. So I'm still alive, baby. I'm still alive.
Chris, as Calais Campbell would say, a win is a win. You take that money to the bank. Now you just got to win some so you can actually get money that you can withdraw. But we got plenty of betting to happen this season. We're going to have some fun for sure.
Yeah, man. Just thinking about the stream today, I was like, boy, is there a lot to talk about? And I fully expect that I will go off on tangents. So I'm going to try and keep us on the rails here. Going to try and keep myself on the rails. I know it's kind of my job to steer the ship, but then when I take us off course, then it's just all bad news. So let's just start at the top as promised. Your Arizona State Sun Devils, guys. They are 1-1 on the season. We were worried about the shaky start to the season last week against NAU. They did get that win against a clearly inferior opponent. Now going into, what was it, Clarksville, there was a lot of buzz. I guess we gave them some bulletin board material with Kenny Dillingham talking about they're not really, the logistics of traveling to small towns, and there's not really places to stay except for casinos, which I guess may or may not be true. Also feeding the whole place. Basically, everyone in Clarksville is like, well, they're saying that Clarksville's a piece of shit town. We got to whoop their ass now. And it's like, I don't think Kenny was saying that. He was just kind of speaking off the cuff. But regardless, that might have been a factor. It was really loud. They had the cowbells all week in practice. But lose this one basically in the last 30 seconds after a dramatic finish. As you can see here in the graphic, if you're watching on YouTube, Sam Leavitt with only 82 yards on 10 completions, 22 attempts, 1 touchdown pass. That was to Jordan Tyson, who hauled in 6 of those passes from Sam Leavitt there. But, man, what are your guys' immediate reaction? I think we're going to throw this to Tallman first.
Oh, boy. So in Sam Leavitt's words, he's not tripping. But, guys, I'm tripping about this. I mean, and you just go back to that first game at against NAU that we attempted to watch while we drafted, but I didn't realize that turned out to be a whole ESPN Plus issue. They just totally shit the bed. That's ridiculous. But you didn't have a great feeling leaving that NAU game. I mean, it was almost like ASU was just saying, we're not getting trapped by this. We're going to we're going to get out. They got out 14-0. They were comfortable, and they just kind of coasted to a win. And you were hoping that wasn't the case this week, where they'd come in ready, they come out, firing, pick up that lead and keep going. Because it was Mississippi State last season where, we played them and it felt like, I think we played them in Tempe and we thought it was going to be a blowout, right? And then sure as shit, it comes down to the last possession and we almost lost that game against Mississippi State. So this one here, it was like the worst case scenario. There was nothing was going the Sun Devils' way. Sam Leavitt couldn't do anything. He was very inaccurate. I mean, it was nothing good was happening on offense. And, if it wasn't for Mississippi State gifting them a roughing the passer call at the last expiring seconds of the half, we would have gone shut out in that first half. It would have been 17-0. So, but, they got that field goal at the end, 17-3 going into halftime. And it felt like, okay, we need to figure something out because Sun Devils came out, were absolutely flat. Nothing was looking like, they looked ill-prepared for this team. And there was a lot of hype, not a lot of hype, right? But Mississippi State, they had a shitload of different new players coming to the team. So it wasn't that same team that went 2-10. Obviously, it's an SEC team, and I don't think ASU's ever beat an SEC team on the road. I could be wrong, but I believe I heard that. So this was kind of like hey, we're going on the road against an SEC team. Of course, they're towards the bottom, right? They're not your powerhouse SEC teams, but nonetheless, it was one. So, I mean, we were favored coming into this, and it was just inexcusable how it started. But then we come out in the second half, and it was like we're running the football. And, I thought for a split second there that we were going to pull this off. And it sure as shit looked like we were going to. And then that last play of the game, man, I got a glimpse of that Peach Bowl game in overtime where it was just like, I mean, I understand if you have a chance to get a sack, you go for the sack. I know one of the safeties was blitzing, but then you had their wide receiver just totally beat the guy. And I was in shock watching it. Honestly, we were texting too. And I think it was Mike, you're like, are they really going to pull this off and win this game somehow? Where it looked like we were dead as shit at the beginning of the game. But no, this is a hard loss right here. I mean, you come in favored. This was a must win, especially Chris, you already mentioned all the build up to this game with Dillingham kind of, stirring the pot a little bit. And I don't know about you guys, but watching that game on TV, you couldn't hear shit because of all those cowbells. I had to check my TV because I thought something was wrong with it. I was like, am I not getting a good connection here? Because I'm hearing this buzz and everything is so, just muffled. It was ridiculous. I mean, I'm not going to blame it on the cowbells because that's just ridiculous. But how can you bring in a sound making device into a stadium and have, thousands and thousands of people in there banging around this sound making device? How was that allowed? I mean, I just think that's a little ridiculous. But either way, I mean, this is terrible. It's a terrible loss for ASU, and I don't think they're going to bounce back from it.
It's a classic case of Arizona sports, gentlemen. There's a lot of high hopes for this Arizona State team. They don't really show out and dominate NAU as they should, so they see themselves drop in the rankings. And then in the bat of an eye, you lose to a team like this in Mississippi State, the worst team in the SEC. You find yourself outside of the top 25 before week 3 can even begin. It's a tough look, man. It's a tough look. Now, all we heard on Arizona sports and, the national pundits, I think Tallman touched on it, this was a different Mississippi State team, and it showed in that first half, right? I mean, they outgained the Devils 209-95 in the first half. But we love a tale of two halves. ASU comes out and punches them in the mouth on the ground, 238-59 in the second half, until that final 5-play, 77-yard drive where Brennan Thompson, the playmaker for the Bulldogs, comes up big for his second touchdown. There's some positives to look at, though, gentlemen. I like the 1-2 punch from the running back position. Raleek Brown with 110 yards. And then the Army transfer is Kanye Udo, right? 105 yards and a touchdown. Also, you got to look at small wins in such tough losses as well. ASU struggled with the kicking situation last year, and it seems like they finally have somebody in Jesus Gomez, him being able to get that. Was it a 50-yarder at the end of the half? But it seemed like he had plenty of leg, and it gave him a little bit of momentum, and you could see that shift coming through. But for Sam Leavitt, man, he looked uncomfortable throwing to anybody but Jordan Tyson. You do want to get your playmakers the ball, but, man, in that type of environment, you would think that Sam Leavitt would be ready to really put his stamp on these type of situations after what this team went through last year. And him and Cam Scatterbo truly being at the helm of this offense. But Tallman, I got to touch on, the one situation where it was so loud in Starkville. Why are we clapping to get the snaps off? How is that not a situation where the coaching staff has addressed that you got to get some type of snap count or some kind of, I don't know, just swing arm to get those off? Because if it's that loud, and I think they said they're not really supposed to be doing the, cowbells right before the snap starts, nobody's going to listen. Nobody ever is going to listen in regard to that. But just have to make adjustments. The beautiful thing for Arizona State is now you saw that there was high expectations. They fell flat. And where did they thrive last year? Being the underdog, being the team that people didn't believe in. So you're hopeful they can get right back on the same foot against Texas State this Saturday at home. But that was another tough game last year, guys. I mean, they had to claw out a 31-28 victory in San Marcos, Texas against them. So they got to come out, get it done, and start rolling, because these Big 12 opponents are going to be hot and heavy coming for the Sun Devils, especially having to go to Iowa State, especially playing a Baylor team that hasn't started that great, but we know is good and going to be one of the top contenders in the Big 12. So this is that classic tough loss, flush it, on to the next. Let's keep moving.
Yeah, and that's honestly what it is, Mike. You got to just forget about this. And they don't really lose much this early in the season other than being maybe humbled a little bit and a little bit of that like pedigree and prestige, because they came in with really high expectations. People talking about Sam Leavitt being in the Heisman conversations, him and Jordan Tyson being like a generational connection. And I'm not saying they can't still be all of that, but it's kind of like knocked them back down to earth, where it's like, okay, we didn't play very good in our first game. Definitely didn't play good in our second game. We lost a game that we probably should have won, but to a good SEC opponent. Now we got Texas State coming into town, a team that took us to the very, very end last year that we barely squeaked by. But they are coming into Tempe. They're 2-0, but I'm looking right now, and ESPN has the ASU favored 78 to 22%. That ASU is going to win this one. The line right now on ESPN Bet is minus 16.5 for ASU. So as far as them being favorite, or have the books having a positive outlook for the Sun Devils, it's still there. But there are a few things that like you guys have touched on and that I've heard other people talk about that I just kind of want to bounce off you guys, get your opinion on. Mike, Tallman did kind of touch on it. Sam Leavitt saying he's not tripping. Does that give you shades of Devin Booker and him saying I'm chilling?
A little bit. You love it. It also is a different era. It's the young school type of kid, right? He has a lot of expectations, I think, not only for this team, but for himself after such a great season last year, where we talked about when they were considered the underdogs. And now, you start almost top 10 to begin a season. So there are still ways to climb within it. But, you're kind of crossing your fingers at this point that hopefully Mississippi State can kind of go on some type of run within the SEC. I don't think you're very hopeful, but if this ends up being a loss, one of your main losses to a team that ends up being, I don't know, 3-9, how does that truly look, even though they are considered an SEC team? Because when you start to see, the next level of being successful for a program, the Arizona State Sun Devils have met that last year, which was making the playoffs. So that is what Kenny Dillingham and this coaching staff seems to be pushing out to their players at this point, but still having a humbleness to them. So they know that there is plenty of football ahead of them. So that's why Sam Leavitt isn't tripping. But he specifically should be tripping just a little bit from his performance, because it really was bad. And it's unfortunate because that bad of a performance already kicks him out of the Heisman considerations, guys. I don't think you can come back from that type of performance. It was a bad look. And even that last play, guys, I mean, it was going to have to be some type of miracle when you're on the 20-yard line, have to go 80 yards within 24 seconds. He lost the football. People were trying to say it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. No, it wasn't. He threw an absolute duck. The worst throw of the day from Sam Leavitt as an interception, and it comes in the last play when you need your playmakers to make plays. So, tough look, but he still ain't tripping.
And I do agree. Like, I think that's the mentality you have to present outwardly, even if behind closed doors, you're like, coach, man, like I'm kind of tripping out. Like I thought I was good in the Heisman conversation, and now I've underperformed to such a degree where I don't even know this dude's first name, but Shopping threw 19 to 33, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. This random guy at Mississippi State outperformed you. But at the end of the day, it's a team game, and maybe like these individual accomplishments that they had in their sights will now kind of fade into the background, and they can focus more on the team aspect of it. We mentioned obviously Texas State this weekend coming up, but next weekend they're traveling out to Baylor. We'll see if ASU is back in the top 25 in the AP top 25. Right now they are still in the coaches, the AFCA coaches poll. They're still in the top 25. They're actually 24 in the coaches poll. So that's not for nothing. But Tallman, I do mention Baylor 2 weeks out because that is our first conference opponent on the season. They're 1-1 to start. I know we had Ben and Stephen Miller on here a couple weeks ago when we did our season preview for ASU, and Ben they were kind of on the fence about Baylor, I think, if I remember correctly, but Ben said in our text group basically that he's no longer worried about Baylor. I guess twofold question here. Are you worried about Baylor, and what do you want to see from ASU this week that'll give you confidence that they could beat Baylor in 2 weeks?
Well, first off, you gotta show Shapen some respect, man. Blake Shapen, he's a senior. I think he started that for Mississippi State for at least 2 or 3 years. So not some random guy, but to us, yes, I agree.
Shapen?
It's Shapen. Okay. Yes.
I was Shapen earlier. It's kind of hot and humid out.
There you go. Never mind. I'm not even going to say it. So Baylor, did you guys see what Baylor did this past weekend? They took number 17 SMU. Was it double overtime? They won 48-45. And I know Southern Methodist, but hey, that's a ranked team, and they took it down to the wire. It was a hell of a game. And actually, yes, I did place a college bet, and I actually lost my college bet because Baylor won. So fuck Baylor. But no, I mean, I'm tripping. I already said that. I'm tripping. I don't care if Leavitt's not tripping. I mean, optics matter in college football. I mean, there's no way in hell we're back in the top 25 just because we beat Texas State. I mean, Baylor's going to be tough. And then we got some good opponents coming up too. I mean, the Big 12 there's no clear these are the top dogs like Georgia, Alabama, and all that crap. It's like, it's not top heavy, right? It's like all the teams any given year, exactly what ASU did. They went from last year, they went from worst to first. And the Big 12 is just, it's a tough conference, man. And everything I've seen thus far, it's like I have zero faith, honestly. I mean, I guess what would make me feel better is that if they came out to start a game with the exact approach they had in the second half of the Mississippi State game, where it's, I mean, stick to the ground. I mean, what did we do great last year? Cam Scatteraboo was incredible running the football, right? Catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, I don't know if it's Sam Leavitt trying to force stuff to Jordan Tyson. I don't know, but I'd like to see them be focused on running the football and keeping control of the game rather than going down 17 zip, because it was, even though it's only 3 point or 3 scores in college football, there's a lot of offense. The way that game was trending at halftime, I was like, there's no way in hell they're going to score, that they're going to stop them on defense. And there's no way in hell that they're going to even score 2 touchdowns. It's impossible the way that these guys are playing. So I answered your question, right? I'm a little afraid of Baylor. Obviously week to week, it's completely different. So, I mean, don't put all your eggs in the basket of them taking a ranked team to overtime and winning, but hey, they've proven they can do it. This ASU team has not proven that they can do it yet. So again, optics matter in college football.
Yeah, and a small sample size. We'll see what ASU can do. The schedule's not getting any easier, though. I think Texas State will be a good chance for, I think it'll honestly be a good indicator of what we can expect the rest of the season, because they are heavily favorite. If they can come out, win by 17, 21, 24 points, make a big statement like we are the team that we said we were at the beginning of the season. Watch out, because then they go on a tough stretch, guys. It's Baylor, TCU, Utah, Texas Tech, Houston. I don't think their football program is as good, but Iowa State, again, a conference opponent, someone we played in the which bowl game was it last year? It was the Big 12 championship. It wasn't even a bowl game. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. We'll see. Time will tell. We'll keep checking in on the Arizona State Sun Devils and Sam Leavitt and the gang. But moving on, we still got to talk about football, and to continue to talk about football, we will speak on, Mike, you got the hat on. Your Arizona Cardinals are 1-0, undefeated, 16 games away from a perfect season, and have won their season opener for the first time in 4 years. What was it, since 2021 was the last time? Mike, I need your immediate reaction. What do you got for us?
A win is a win is a win is a win, as Calais Campbell would say. Guys, there's a lot to nitpick from this game specifically, because what are the expectations for the New Orleans Saints? Probably to be a team that picks in the top 3 in the 2026 NFL draft, right? One of the lower competitive teams this year. But you have to think about where we've been, right? We haven't seen an opening week 1 win in almost 5 years, if not 5 years. You had a really tough opponent last season in the Buffalo Bills, and a tough early schedule if you kind of think of it too. And now all the groundwork that this franchise and organization has been building gets to come onto the field, and we get to start to see it coming to fruition. Now, the tough thing about this, guys, though, is I hope that Jonathan Gannon and Monty Austinfort change their tune next year in regards to preseason football, because I'm sick and tired of wasting the first 3 weeks for these guys to get into any rhythm or truly be in game shape. You saw it from the defensive line, guys. I mean, no contributions from Darius Robinson or Dalvin Tomlinson whatsoever. There was absolutely no pressure from the outside. Josh Sweat it seemed like a no-show, even though he ended up with a top 5 PFF grade for the Arizona Cardinals somehow. But you're starting to see where the money was spent, which was on the defensive side. Will Johnson absolutely just jumping onto the page on a national standpoint from his PFF coverage of 90.3. He was second in forced incompletions in the entire league this week, as well as his coverage grade. He had that huge hit on Chris Olave. He had that BS first interception called back from an absolutely terrible penalty call. So it's awesome to see a young secondary already stepping up with 9 passes defended. And you truly have to think about why this game was a little bit closer than we could have imagined. The New Orleans Saints have a good play caller with the head coach. What's his name? Why do I keep forgetting his name? You guys,
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. You know, he had some really good years over with the Dallas Cowboys as a play caller, but he did what he thought was best for his quarterback and Spencer Rattler, which was making him make quick decisions, getting the ball out within 2 seconds of his dropbacks. And especially when you have a double-digit lead with less than 6 minutes in a game, you know, getting that blocked field goal for them, the Arizona Cardinals have to go in spread coverage and step off. So everything is left underneath. So when people are giving all this credit to Spencer Rattler, think about if they're really dialing it up and if it is a closer game. Is he going to truly have those opportunities? I don't think so, right? But going back to what I was talking about in regard to the Arizona Cardinals as a whole, there's still some sloppiness. There's still some, kinks that need to be worked out. Kyler Murray missing a possible 94-yard touchdown to Marvin Harrison Jr. The offensive line really struggling outside of Paris Johnson Jr. These guys aren't ready. They weren't in game shape because everybody only played one possession in the first game and then didn't play at all, right? This will always be a conversation we have every year until things change, and we might see maybe guys play a half or 2 games or something, because this is basically still the preseason for the Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately. But like we said, a win is a win. I'm going to have some more thoughts, but I got to pass it back to you guys. It's great to start 1-0, and it's time to capitalize and win at home to start perfect, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. Obviously, we are coming back home for the home opener against a really bad Carolina Panthers team. And I do want to dive into this week 2 matchup a little bit, because the Cardinals have a bit of a checkered history with the Carolina Panthers. Not necessarily this Carolina Panthers team, but recent history. I think within the Kyler Murray era, I think I heard today that they've had 5 meetings, and Cardinals are 1-4 in those meetings, I believe. Could be wrong on that. But after that, we're going on the road to San Francisco to take on the 49ers, who are banged up. They don't have George Kittle. He's going to be out for a significant period of time, or at least through that game where we're going to see them. And then Seahawks, Titans, Colts right after that. So, I mean, some of those teams are kind of overperforming, but this early part of the season, I don't necessarily have a problem with them playing down to their opponents early, as long as they actually ramp up and they're winning these games, because they did play down to the Saints where we expect them to be, and they won that game. But honestly, you can talk about expectations on paper. Everyone talks about good training camps and what they see on paper and through these workouts and everything, but nobody really knows until all the guys line up and start playing regular season meaningful football. I don't know, Tallman, I gotta pass it off to you here before I go on too long of a tangent, but I'm just wondering what you thought of the first game of Kyler Murray's final season as an Arizona Cardinal.
Oh, damn, final season. All right, I see where your head's at there, Chris. And hey, I might be joining you midway through the season. We'll see. Guys, so I expected a total bloodbath. The Arizona Cardinals, given the bloodbath to the Saints, right? I mean, it's no secret that the Saints are going to be a bad football team this year. Even the Saints know they're going to be a bad football team. Even all their fans know. It's like, I mean, but I got to digress a little bit. You're going into on the road, and anytime you get a win in the NFL on the road, you're going to take it no matter what it looks like, right? And then you're going to play the crazy Saints fans and all the people that are, for some reason living in New Orleans. I don't know what they're doing there. It's a terrible city. But they're crazy, right? So it's a crazy environment. I mean, kind of my biggest takeaway was where was the pressure from the defensive line? I mean, look at all the investments we made in the offseason. And it was like Kyler Murray gets sacked 5 times. We can only get to Spencer Rattler once. And the guy to do it is Baron Browning, so it kind of just felt like kind of like what I said about ASU and NAU. It's like we went into that game where it's like we're favored. We were the largest road favorite in week 1 in the NFL. And it was like, hey, we're not going to get trapped here. We're going to keep everything in front of us, like Mike already said. And we're going to manage it, and we're going to do just whatever we get to win the game. So you saw that in the defense. And then on the offensive side, it felt conservative outside of a couple shots. I mean, the pass to Marvin Harrison was incredible. But it just felt conservative to me. A lot of dinking and dunking, and then Kyler Murray just running out of the pocket. So, but from the defensive side, though, the pressure, it's like, I know we're out our first round pick, but Darius Robinson's basically still a rookie, right? I mean, we got a lot of big guys on that front, and our big piece that we paid for, the shiny new toy, Josh Sweat, you barely heard his name get called. So we need to see something different, coming up this weekend, where it's a revenge game this weekend, because I'm still not over what Carolina did to us towards the end of last season, where they totally shit on any possibility that we had to make an opponent. So this is an absolute revenge game, must win.
I do agree. This is a must win for sure. A team that just as bad, if not worse, than the New Orleans Saints. But Tallman, I do want to push back on that a little bit, because it was one game, obviously short sample size. We don't want to overreact. We didn't hear Josh Sweat's name get called. He didn't really get to the quarterback as much. Nobody on the Cardinals really did. But as Mike pointed out, how much of that was a function of how quickly Spencer Rattler was getting the ball out? I mean, when you don't even have time to get to the quarterback because he's getting it out in 2-3 seconds as the game plan, knowing that they probably have a weak offensive line and they could get eaten alive should he sit back there in the pocket. I think that could have something to do with it, but time will tell, right? Obviously that's going to be something to keep an eye on, but I was impressed, at least so far as how the defense showed up and the performance of the rookie Will Johnson. Mike, I do want to ask you though about on the offensive side of the ball, what you think of the appearance of what seems to be, I guess, searching for the right word here, the emergence of a dual backfield with James Conner and Trey Benson, right?
It's what you absolutely hoped for, right? And it's also, I think the Arizona Cardinals were hopeful that Trey Benson would kind of emerge last season. So they maybe would have been able to pay James Conner a little bit less money, because you have to think of, the running back situation within the NFL. A lot of guys don't really play past 30 and don't get very large contracts, but it was worthy of James Conner to get the money that he got. That's besides the fact, right? But you were hopeful to see those type of runs, those explosive 52-yard runs that make magic out of nothing in that kind of situation, right? Trey Benson pulled the Houdini act with that step onto the outside on that type of play. So if we want to be truly successful, we already talk about this. We know this about this Arizona Cardinals team, specifically on the offense. It is run first. And if you can keep as healthy of legs for James Conner and Trey Benson at the same time by splitting carries at this point within the season, instead of having to bleed 20 plus carries onto James Conner because he's the only one who can really run behind this offensive line, you're going to see a whole lot more success, right? I think a lot of people, as natural, and like Tallman was saying, this was what a lot of people, specifically Arizona Cardinals fans, thought would be at least, a 14 to 17 point victory. And guys, it should have been, right? But, overall for this offense, I think they conducted themselves pretty well for what Kyler Murray had. We're not giving him excuses. I've been there playing with the bubble guts and had not feeling that great. But he overcame that. I think he made smart decisions when he needed to. This is what we know about him. There's always going to be those situations where he wants to make plays and he holds on to the football a little bit too long and takes those 15 to 16, 17-yard sacks. It's always a head scratcher. You always shake your head at it a little bit, but that's part of his game. And you are very hopeful that he's going to be able to make mountains out of those molehills more often than not. And overall within this offense, I think he did exactly what you need to do and exactly what Jonathan Gannon talked about in the passing game, which is you feed the playmakers, guys. This offensive weaponry through the air has to go through Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride, right? I mean, I heard a great take the other day. What do you think about the first couple of Super Bowl teams from the Kansas City Chiefs through the air? Who was getting the bulk of those touches? Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. You know, those secondary players, when they needed to step up and make catches, they did. But what happened once they left the Chiefs organization? Valdez-Scantling, Mecole Hardman. They went into absolute obscurity because they were not playmakers. They were not true difference makers. Unfortunately, the secondary weapons for the Arizona Cardinals are not difference makers. But when their time is called upon, I'm still confident that they're going to be able to step up and make plays when they need to, i.e. Zay Jones, Greg Dortch, and God, Michael Wilson. You need to do it because if not, you are not going to be on this team next year either. That's just the truth. He might stick around because he's still on his rookie deal, but you need to feed your playmakers. You need to run the football successfully. And for 3.5 quarters, this Arizona Cardinals team did that. So I think it's more of a positive than a negative, especially to echo once again what Tallman talked about, going on a road into a hostile environment. I don't care how bad the team is supposed to be because the New Orleans Saints don't know how bad they're going to be just yet. So they put their best foot forward. And it seemed like the Arizona Cardinals are starting to do that, but there's always things to clean up. So I'm excited, man. I cannot wait for this Sunday. You know, I'm chomping at the bit, baby.
Yeah, a win's a win. You know, we'll take it. I think I would rather they start a little slow, shake off the rust against some bad opponents, and then get it rolling to where when we start playing the tougher opponents, we're a well-oiled machine with a game plan in place that we're executing at a high level. And I agree with everything you said there, Mike. Feeding the playmakers, rolling with them. It's what the best teams do. I mean, you think of every quarterback had his like go-to receiver, whether it was Tom Brady and Randy Moss, Tom Brady and name a wide receiver at any given point in time, Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Like there's always Peyton Manning and Demaryius Thomas. Like there's always a quarterback wide receiver combo. But I am glad you brought up the wide receiver too, because that does have some people worried. And I did actually have it slated here to kind of the last thing I wanted to bounce off Tallman is in that game on Sunday, Michael Wilson had 1 reception for 5 yards. Zay Jones, 1 reception for 4 yards, I think. Greg Dortch had negative yards. A few other guys had grabs here and there. But if your name wasn't Harrison Jr. or McBride, you weren't really getting the ball through the air. Does that, I guess Mike doesn't seem to be concerned as long as we're feeding the beast, and I could be speaking for him and out of turn, but does it concern you that this wasn't something that was addressed in the offseason, like going to get a Keenan Allen or another one of those guys off the free agency heap?
Yeah, it concerns me. Not a lot, but it concerns me. We've already talked about this coming into the season where you have all these additions on defense, but we're running back the same offense. And I mean, Mike, you're absolutely right. Feed the beast and your top playmakers, feed your playmakers, and we should be fine. That's exactly what they did on Sunday. I mean, at least Michael Wilson had 4 targets, right? And you got a kind of so-so game out of James Conner, who is one of your biggest playmakers. And obviously, better games are coming for Conner. But it's concerning because we played the Saints defense, right? We're going to play some pretty good defenses this season. And, what happens if your top playmakers are going to be blanketed? They're going to be covered. I mean, some of these other guys are going to have to step up. And do I feel if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Michael Wilson, as much as it pains me to say that, but he's got the size, he's got the physicality where he could be somebody that we could go to when, where he's one-on-one and he gets open, right, where the other guys are all covered. I mean, but again, it's like Greg Dortch, Zay Jones, like that doesn't get the juices flowing for me. I mean, I love the Trey Benson approach. I mean, because maybe with this approach with the dual backs in the backfield, Chris won't have to say, oh, well, good luck when he's hurt week 12, because we won't have to have him have 20 carries, right? And goddamn, does Trey Benson look like a hell of a football player? So that's a great approach there. All that's all nice and well, but I'm still concerned about the talent in the wide receiver room. That's that second, that third, that fourth guy, because at some point in time in the season, multiple times it's going to occur. We're going to need some true production from those guys. And honestly, that's one of our weakest rooms, I would say, on the team. The talent is just not there. Yeah, it's great. You have the big guy at the top, and damn, does he look like he's going to be a superstar. He really does. But, we need somebody else.
So, Chris, I got to jump in because you said you might be putting words in my mouth, and a little bit you were, okay? There's always concern when you don't have a bona fide secondary weapon outside of what Tallman is calling your next, hopefully, generational superstar when you talk about a wide receiver one in Marvin Harrison Jr. But right now, I'm looking at the stats. Marvin only had 6 targets. Trey only had 9, right? You want to take some more targets away from them and give 4 to Zay Jones or 5 to Greg Dortch? It doesn't work, especially when this team wants to run the ball 25 plus times a game as well. And what did they talk about doing this season too? Re-unlocking the secondary ability of Kyler Murray, which is running the football, not only in designs, but him getting outside the pocket and making plays when he needs to. I mean, you guys got to be proud of Kyler Murray putting his head down and running for that first down on that third down, right? I mean, no matter how much you hate him, it's something that you never saw from him. The only thing you ever see is him running to the sideline, stretching the ball out, trying to get the first down. He used his physicality because he feels good this year. He already himself said that his legs feel like he's back to normal. So that's going to be another added facet to this offensive system as well. But Marvin Harrison Jr. needs 12 targets a game, guys, minimum. I would say the same with Trey McBride. So if you're touching 40 passes a game within that, the love's not going to be able to be spread too far around to some of these other guys. But I think the positive I will say as well, within this system, this new regime, Chris, I would say they're not dumb, right? They saw that this defense was pretty inept the first 2 seasons, not only on the backside, but especially on the front. Stopping the run, I think we were 31st in the league, second to worst, right? They went and they spent the money to get pass rush and shore up the middle. Now, I'm still very confident that we are going to see dividends from that this year. And I think there's no question, especially with how the secondary began on week 1, this team should be a surefire top 10 NFL defense by the end of the year, probably pushing top 5. Screw you, Tallman, for picking them up in fantasy already. But they know, I don't think the long-term answer out there, unfortunately, is Michael Wilson. You want to be able to free up the 2 guys. So like you guys talked about, when they start getting bracketed, or even when they're moving Marv on the route trees to the same side as that wide receiver number 2, they can get creative in routes, and it's not just going to pigeonhole double, triple team coverage onto these guys and saying, hey, test Michael Wilson. We'll see if he can go and make a catch, because he hasn't done it in 2.5 seasons, So they will address it next year. And we know this, we want to win so bad right now, but this team is still being built out. And even with the expectations that I myself have put on this team right now, the building continues around this unit. So next year, man, just wait for the weaponry that's around. So long story short, there's still always concern when you don't have a bona fide wide receiver number 2 that you can really throw 6 to 7 times at. Michael Wilson is just not that guy right now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I get that they probably did look around the free agent market and they just didn't like who was out there, but it's hard to swallow that pill when Keenan Allen for the Chargers goes out there and gets 7 receptions for 68 yards and a touchdown. It's like maybe that guy could have helped us. And we talked about the veteran leadership that he could have brought in, but hey, I mean, the Monty Austinfort and Jonathan Gannon experiment, I think so far has shown to be trending in the right direction, but this season is going to be a big barometer for where they're at with that. I think we already talked about it, probably both on a stream and off. The notion that Jonathan Gannon is on a hot seat is absolutely silly and ridiculous. There's no way in hell. You can say Kyler Murray might be in a little bit of a hot seat, but Jonathan Gannon is not. But that being said, we do need to see them take that step this season. I totally agree, Mike, that we will see that with the offense, especially. I'm sorry, with the defense especially, but the offense, I think, leaves a little bit to be desired, more so in the passing game, I think, than the run game. And that kind of starts with Kyler Murray, but that also does have to go to his weapons. How much is he going to use Trey McBride to check down? Is he going to be able to continue to bolster and strengthen that connection with Marvin Harrison Jr.? It starts and ends with that, but it could, sky's the limit, honestly. Going to be talking about the Cardinals plenty throughout the season. But in week one, I just want to look around the league a little bit. There were some fun games. We had a Thursday game, a Friday game, obviously full slate on Sunday, and then Chicago and Minnesota last night on Monday was actually quite entertaining for two teams that aren't going to be very good at all this season. I suppose let's start with the Thursday and Friday games. I just like the Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles were taking on the Dallas Cowboys, their division opponent, in a kind of a bit of a nail biter. The Philadelphia Eagles did end up winning that one by 4. But the Friday night game I think I found the most interesting is the Chargers beat the Chiefs by 6, 27-21. Were either of those games on your list of watching over the week? I guess I didn't throw that to anyone. Tallman.
No, that's right. I'll take it. Yeah, I watched both of them, and I think I was planning to a week out just because I was itching to watch some real football, and of course to lose some money on it. But yeah, no, the Eagles one, I was surprised about because how Dak Prescott looked, and you thought, I mean, if the Dallas would have won that game against the reigning Super Bowl champs. I mean, old boy Jerry Jones would have been feeling real good about himself after that Micah Parsons trade. But no, I was shocked by how good, Dak looked. I mean, his record, I didn't realize his record against the Eagles is actually pretty good. I think he's got a winning record against them. But then the Chiefs game, the Chargers, man, I'm real glad I got Justin Herbert sitting on my bench in fantasy because, I mean, with Harbaugh, you would think that they'd just be running, not throwing. All Herbert did was throw the football. He started the game like throwing 3 straight pass attempts, which is just weird. And honestly, it felt like the Chiefs were playing catch up the entire game, and it felt like the momentum was all on the Chargers side. And I mean, I like when the Chiefs lose, so I was happy about Friday.
A Chiefs loss is always a win for the rest of the NFL fans across the country. But Mike, out of, I guess, the full slate here, are there any games that stood out to you?
I mean, Chris, I think you already touched on it in the starter. The Sunday night game, an absolute instant classic. Josh Allen brings the Buffalo Bills down 15 with less than 5 minutes, puts together miraculous drives, uses his legs. Guys, he's the best quarterback in football. I'm sorry. It just is what it is at this point. He continues to put on the Houdini act with guys that are not household names yet. And, starting to pull them alongside with him. That's what the best do. That's what we pray for from Kyler Murray, right? Elevating guys to become household names and true great players within this league. I mean, people are excited about what Keon Coleman was able to do. I know he had that just fluke touchdown catch that was tipped, but I love that after that game, guys, I had to do a little bit of internal searching. First and foremost, because I was feeling pretty down because Mr. T Sr. had Josh Allen, and he single-handedly killed me in fantasy this week. So your boy starts 0-1, but hey, we move forward. But it brought the questions, and it's the same. It was awesome that he's playing Lamar Jackson. Is Kyler Murray that kind of guy that you can see your team down by 2 touchdowns with 8 minutes left, Do you have confidence that he can lead drives and lead you over the best of the best in the NFL right now, right? A lot of it for team success depends on the pieces all around the field, right? You have to have a great defense. You have to have good weapons. But it just seems like year after year, Josh Allen catapults this Buffalo Bills offense, which you don't think should be anything, into absolutely miraculous numbers, and wins a historic game at the end of the night. So it was just something special to watch. Buffalo Bills are my Super Bowl pick to come out of the AFC this season, guys. I think it's easy to see that this is the next step. Josh Allen already has the hardware personally. Now he wants it for his team. But I'd be remiss if I think one of the other games that I looked at this week, and I'm feeling pretty confident. I think that this bet is at least going to go down to the wire. It's that the Cincinnati Bengals are a bullshit team and really suck, man. Their offense is horrible. Joe Burrow might not make it through this season because he's going to get hammer-fisted consistently, and their defense is still atrocious. For them to just squeak out a 1-point win against the lowly Cleveland Browns, I feel really confident in my bet now this season. Joe Burrow stinks. So very excited to see the implosion and continued unsuccess for the Cincinnati Bengals this year. Sorry, Tallman.
Oh, geez. Come on, man. It was funny because I was watching the Cardinals game and then it ended and I was like, shit, we should have just run back the Zay Jones, Michael Wilson bet after how that game ended. I was like, Jesus.
Hey, we'd be tied right now.
Yeah, well, I think well, you'd be up by 1 yard, right? We did yard. Yeah, we did yards.
No, we did catches.
Catches.
Receptions.
You're right. We did catches. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Hey, the Bengals notoriously start slow. It happens every single year.
I know. But I went hostile on you just because the Bengals, I'm worried for them still at the end of the day. They're not as bad as I'm making them out to be. But I think their defense is not going to be good once again. And the big thing, I do stand behind this. If they cannot protect Joe Burrow, their offense is predicated on him making it happen through the air. So if he is taking consistent hits like he did this past Sunday, if he makes it through, it's going to be a long season, I think, because their schedule is no picnic either. So, yeah, that was tough. I mean, come on, guys. You can't tell me that the Cleveland or the Cleveland Browns should be able to hold a candlestick to the Cincinnati Bengals with 40-plus-year-old Joe Flacco under the helm. Like, come on. That's a tough look. It's a tough start, even though it's a W. I think it's a worse win than what the Arizona Cardinals did. So take that as you will.
I would agree. Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
Yep. Joe Flacco wasn't elite 10 years ago, and he's not elite now. But yeah, I mean, I'm liking your bet there, guys. So far it's tied. I'd love it if it stayed that way.
It's going to come down to the last week. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I believe it. Have you started looking at like what hat you might want if you lose?
No. We'll get there when we get there.
It's a ways away. Yeah, no, guys, a very interesting week one. Obviously, it's too early to hit the panic alarm on any of these teams. Kansas City is known to lose a few and then come out and win the Super Bowl later in the season. So you never know. I do think one of the other interesting ones that I wanted to just briefly kind of laugh at is Miami is really bad. Really bad. Losing to Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. Yikes. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, and then how about the Monday night game? You thought that the Bears had that thing in the bag the whole night, and then all of a sudden, J.J. McCarthy just starts making plays, the Michigan man. I don't know if the Vikings are truly going to be a top-tier team, but you have to have confidence after that. I mean, they did win 14 games last year, and, their defense is solid consistently. So if J.J. can stay up and get it to his playmakers, I mean, they may be a good team, but I love it, man. We know this. There's so many Chicago transplants in the Valley. More than half my friends, it seemed like, are Chicago Bears fans. So all I get to see on social media leading up to the game on Monday is it's game day, baby. And I was like, no, game day was yesterday. The team that matters already played. And then they blow it. You got to love it. No respect for Bears fans. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes when the season kicks off. But I still love my friends who are Bears fans. But hey, take that out. Hold it.
Well, and then when I'm driving home at 4:00, I have to listen to the producer on 98.7, who's a Bears fan.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's just I hate it. I hate it, guys. It's the nature of being a transplant town, though. Yeah, I did think that was interesting. They were talking about that a little bit today, and Caleb Williams, his quarterback rating got worse every single quarter of that game. Like, he just got worse and worse and worse to where McCarthy was able to come back. I thought that was a really interesting game. I was watching that on and off while I was making dinner last night. But guys, I'm just so glad that football's back. Like fall, like October. Someone I was listening to like ESPN radio over the weekend, and they were talking about how like October is the perfect month because you have football fully like kicked off underway. The baseball, World Series playoffs are wrapping up. You're going to have the basketball season starting, and you got, if you're into hockey, you got that starting. I don't give a shit about hockey, but just a whole lot to look forward to, guys, with the football. But I do mention the World Series, that'll be happening around that time. Guys, Diamondbacks, are they gonna be in that conversation? They're flirting with the wild card spot. I haven't looked today, but I think they're like still 5 or 6 games out.
No, they are 4 back from the last spot, Chris.
It's just 4. Oh, that changes things a little bit. Not a lot of games left, though, right? Was it 14 games? Is this the slate? Is this the full slate left?
This is what we got left. Obviously, we're finishing up San Francisco, then on to the Twins, then back home for 3 series, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and we end with the Padres. So basically, we're finishing up, except for the Twins, right, with all teams that are either in the playoff hunt or already in the playoff picture right now.
Yeah, you said it, Michael. That's a tough schedule then to end the year. I mean, come on, guys. So, okay, the Mets are imploding, which the New York Mets tend to do. They lost today to the Phillies. You got the Reds ahead of us, who are tied with the Padres 2-2 right now as we speak. So, I mean, if you have any small bit of hope that the D-backs are going to have a shot at this, you should be a Padres fan right now. Of course, until that last series of the season. But if you have the Reds lose, Mets already lost. I mean, the D-backs got to pull it out right now. I mean, we're losing to San Francisco 5-2 right now, and it's been a killer the last 2 games for sure. Because if we win tonight, we're right there. You're 3 games back. This past Sunday, we had the lead. We coughed it up there at the end. Yesterday, we had an early lead. We were up 3-zip. 4-2, and then we lose 11-5 because our bullpen just absolutely shit the bed. But if we could have held on to those last 2 games that we have leads, we're talking about we're right there to take it, which is just crazy to think about because we were sellers. I mean, we gave away our best players. I mean, imagine if we still had Naylor and Gino, and you still had Merrill Kelly in the rotation, and the guys we got back, we're not getting any production from. I mean, you could argue that Locklear and Jordan Lawler just lost us one of the games over the weekend from a defensive standpoint. But the guys that we have at the corners, they're not really giving us what we what we would have had if we weren't sellers and we actually put everything into it and we're buyers and we went for it. But again, I've been shocked because I screwed in the nails into the coffin for that baseball team a couple weeks ago. So what's great about it is we're playing somewhat meaningful baseball in September, regardless of if we have a 5% chance to make the playoffs or a 30% chance to make the playoffs. We still are technically in it, right? We're not mathematically, eliminated from this. So it's great. But the other question that comes into it is, wow, look at what Torey Lovullo was able to do with this lackluster team towards the end of the season. So you have all those Torey questions, and if you ask me right now, I'd put my money on Torey Lovullo being the manager of this baseball team next season. And because you got to think about it, guys, we're going to have those same injuries to start next season. This baseball team is going to look very similar as it does right now when the next season starts. So, but hey, hats off to them though. I mean, you're getting some production from some of these guys. This Chris Mack guy, I don't even know his first name, but he's been the fifth pitcher in the rotation. His first 2 starts has been incredible. He had like a 2.3 ERA or something. Obviously, his previous start, he did not have that same fate. He got banged up a little bit, but it's been a weird past couple of weeks for me. I mean, my focus has shifted recently. I'm still watching the games, but man, to think that we're 3 games back, it's crazy because again, this team was dead.
Yeah, and I kind of hate it, to be honest with you. It's been the longest, weirdest season because the season, not the season, the team we had in March and April compared to the team we have now in September is just completely different. Basically dead in the water at the trade deadline. You said it, fire sale. You get rid of Shelby Miller, who you think could probably help you out now, who actually ended up making you lose because he was pitching against you. A lot of weird stuff. You now have this guy, Tyler Locklear, at first, but he's injured now, right? I think he's banged up. So
today, yeah, or yesterday, yeah.
He might be done for the year, though.
Yikes.
Same with Pavin, I think, is already done for the year if they didn't call it. So it's Timmy Tawa time.
Timmy Tawa. Oh boy, I don't hate Tim Tao. I'm glad he's back. That's a good time for him to come back because I think he was banged up and injured too. Blaze Alexander is becoming like the super utility guy. He played in the outfield a couple nights ago. He's gotten starts at I think third, short, second. Like he's been all over the field. I do like me some Blaze Alexander right now. So there's some bright spots, but is it enough to get us into the playoffs? Maybe it's possible. Is it enough for us to make a run in the playoffs? Absolutely not, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to stay on earth here and not get my hopes up. And that goes back to basically what I said just now when I was starting to go in here is like, it's been a weird season. Don't get my hopes up. It's like this team starts out with really high expectations and then it's kind of sputtering. And the whole time I'm sitting here yelling like every game matters. Every game matters. Remember what happened last year? Everyone's saying, relax, it's early. Relax, it's early. All of a sudden, oh, are we going to be buyers or sellers at the deadline? Fucking sputter out. Okay, now we're sellers, starts looking up after the deadline. It's just this team is so bipolar, doesn't know if they're good or bad. And at this point, it's like, I thought 2-3 weeks ago that we were at that point of throwing in the towel, see what we can do for next year. Like I'm with Tallman. Like I've still been tuning in, probably not as much as him, but I've still been tuning into the games to see what's good. And it's like, actually not bad baseball. Like again, last thing I'll say with the roller coaster, getting their hopes up. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. had a fantastic, August? Out of his mind in August, like led the majors in RBIs, gets injured and is done for the season now. So, I mean, what the fuck are we to do? We can't get too high because we always get knocked back down. And Mike, whether it's ASU, whether it's the Cardinals or the Diamondbacks, it's just the plight of a Valley sports fan, it seems.
Yes, that is an unfortunate truth. But Chris, you asked the right question. What are we to do? We're supposed to enjoy the rest of this season, man, because we get to see some of these young guys perform. I love that you touch on Blaze Alexander, Chris, the super utility Superman. I mean, what an absolute rob of a home run against the Boston Red Sox. I mean, he's only hitting 217 in his last 7, but just outstanding play in the outfield. I was there on Friday, the home opener against the Red Sox. He had great plate discipline, drew 3 walks. That was another scary kind of game, but then Corbin hits a 3-run shot and we were all able to breathe. And then the guy that I've been waiting for, Jordan Lawler, gets the call up, right? 286 since the call up, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 2 runs, just 5 games. But this is what you get to look forward to for the rest of this season. Geraldo Perdomo becoming an absolute household name where people want to put him minimum top 3 in best shortstops in the game. Corbin Carroll gets another 30 for 30 season. you start to get to see some of these new guys in the bullpen, like Tallman touched on, Taylor Rashi. He did blow that Sunday game, but we're not going to hold it against him. New guys like Brandon Garcia, John Curtis, Andrew Southrank shoring up the closing pitcher role. It is always tough when you can see a glimmer of hope, but I think like a lot of us, we already closed the door, and that's where you need to live within the realism. I think this is a tall mountain to climb. It's not Mount Everest, but it's still pretty tall. And, they might get altitude sickness, or they probably will before the end of this season. So just looking forward to them finishing strong. At one point, this team was 8-9 games under 500, and they've gone 21-15 since the trade deadline. Like, that is absolutely crazy after being sellers. So you have to give credit to the mental fortitude of this team. As much as we want to roast them sometimes as well, you got to give credit to Torey Lovullo and them making sure to freaking kick out the third base coach. I'm always going to forget his name because that's how bad he was. I don't want to remember it. But, man, this team has been playing some good ball. Hopefully they can figure something out tonight. It might be an uphill battle. But you get the Giants again, win that series, be competitive against the Phillies and Dodgers, who are teams that are going to be in the playoffs for sure, and finish strong, man. 500 or better. If you would have told me that was going to happen after they shipped out their true heavy hitters in Josh Naylor and Gino Suarez, got rid of guys like Merrill Kelly, I would have laughed at you. But, man, it's another tough lost season if you think about the expectations that this Diamondbacks team had. But you have to still be proud by the way that this young core has fought. And there's still promise in the Valley that this team is going to be good for years to come. They're just going to have to get creative in bringing in some guys as we wait for the health to come back for our big-time players. But props to the D-backs, man. I'm so proud of them, man.
Yeah, and Mike, that's going to be the interesting, interesting conversation or conversations what we're going to be having over the next year is how they navigate this. And it seems like I'm really impressed with what Kendrick is doing, what Mike Hazen and Derek Hall have been able to do with the construction of this roster. Ken Kendrick obviously willing to spend, but I mentioned next year just because we're going to have a couple guys on payroll that aren't going to play. Corbin Burns is going to be rehabbing on the company dime, essentially. Now we went and got rid of the Montgomery contract. That's good. But now you're going to have Gurriel rehabbing also on the company's dime, not playing and getting any field time. So two starters right there already missing a significant amount of time. What are they going to keep Eduardo Rodriguez or try and ship him out? Are they going to try and re-sign Zach Gallen and get him back maybe here on a 1-year prove-it deal, or do they like him enough to get him long-term? It's going to be really interesting kind of to see how they navigate it. And I do think that this team, like you mentioned, they're young and it is exciting. I think they have, although it is a different team, learned from last year where they basically said like, yeah, we wanted to have the final say in our hands when it comes down to if we make the playoffs or not. And they didn't last year. It came down to a game between the Mets and I forget who else, but they colluded, split the makeup game series, and they both made the playoffs and the Diamondbacks didn't. But so I think with this final stretch, if there are, I don't want to say delusions, but if there are aspirations of, buckling down over these next 15 or so games and squeaking in as a wild card, they know that it's going to be in their hands. And I think that does bode well, but I don't know. I think it'd be fun. It'd be like a ragtag, underdog story. No expectation that they'll go anywhere. But hey, you get in and you never know. That's what happened in 2023. We made it to the World Series. Let's just have fun. And hey, last thing I was going to say, and so Tallman could get his last thoughts out as well. Guys, I didn't want to say this on like a recording and this is, live. I think Torey Lovullo might have saved his job with the way the last month or so has gone. I don't know about you, Tallman. I know you've been on the Torey criticism train with me a little bit. Yeah,
no, I'm absolutely with you. I already kind of touched on it where if I was going to put any money on it right now, Torey's going to be back. I mean, just given the shit hand he was dealt in a sense of injuries to this team, it's like it's gotten to the point now after Lourdes got hurt and the news came out he was done, he's going to be out. What did he end up doing? He tore, was it ACL or
ACL? Yeah,
Tore his ACL. Yep.
tore his ACL? Yeah, and it was just like, I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and even the best manager is not going to be able to bounce back and put on the field a playoff winning baseball team. I mean, it's just, you're handcuffed. It's impossible. You're relying on new faces, new names week in and week out of guys that don't have major league experience. It's like it, and baseball is one of those games where there's a reason why Jordan Lawler was the shit in the minors and he just struggled up here. It's hard. It's a hard game to play. All the professional athletes will say, what's the hardest thing to do? Oh, try to hit a fastball from a major league pitcher. It's impossible, right? But he's going to be back, and that's okay. I like Torey, right? But hopefully this season will act as, he takes a look in the mirror, because there was a lot of learning moments, I would say, in a sense of right from the get-go when the season started, that hopefully we can not make those same mistakes and be better next year. But I do just want to add one last thing. Mike, you mentioned Jordan Lawler. Let's give a round of applause to Jordan Lawler. He finally did it. He kicked the yips. Attaboy. Way to hang in there, Tiger.
Thank the Lord, man. Now just keep breaking, man. I can't wait till this kid gets his first big league home run. I think everybody, that they're going to do the walk out of the into the clubhouse and leave him alone in the dugout. That'll be a fun scene for him. But yeah, just had to get over the hump, play confident. That's all this team has to do to finish this season. Continue to grow, continue to see what you have at different positions, guys that are going to have to be contributors next year, and that we want to keep around to grow for the next great Arizona Diamondbacks ball club, right? This team is good. It's not great. They've been good the past 2 years. It's time to get back to great, and they are just there.
Yeah, they're knocking on the door. I think you take next year and you let these young guys develop. You get these guys enough playing time together, and you kind of start to shape the team you're going to want for a big push. And then in 2027, once everybody's healthy, that's when you get more, spend more money in the off season, get a big bat, get another pitcher, shore things up, and that's when you go for it. But that's going to be, I think, the beautiful thing about next year is the expectation bar being lower to where I think we can be, more. There'll be more wins to celebrate, in a sense that, when you expect them to win, it's like, okay, they did their job. But when you have little to no expectations and they win, it's like, oh, hell yeah, they fucking won. So I look forward to that type of stuff. I do like the development stuff, but you want them to reach a mountaintop eventually. And, like I mentioned before I pass it off to you, Mike, it's tough to be a Valley sports fan sometimes, but we will persist and we will be here to talk about it. We are live at 7 p.m. every Tuesday right here on our YouTube channel. You can follow us, like and subscribe here on YouTube. Next day on audio only services, that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you can find audio only podcasts, you can find Valley Sports Plug. Next day after we go live, you can find us there. All of our podcasts, including our in-person podcast recording, the Heat Check podcast that we do once a month, is over there as well. And right here on YouTube. You can follow us at AZ_VSP across all socials. Links are in the description below. But fellas, man, it was good to do a Heat Check live again. I love just shooting the shit with you guys about everything going on here in the Valley and our major sports teams. But do want to, of course, give you the floor one last time, get any thoughts or feelings off your chest. Let's start with Tallman first, man. Tallman, how you doing, man?
Oh, just fabulous. So I mentioned earlier, this weekend is the Cardinals' revenge game against the Panthers. This weekend is my revenge game against FanDuel.
Let's go.
Those fuckers. No, so you put me on blast earlier. So, okay, so if I just sent some pics, I don't have to do a video every single week, because that's just for the Tallman ticket.
Yeah, we could Mike, our graphic guy. Could make a beautiful
production
graphic.
Team, right? Yeah.
We just post that on the socials. You don't have to make a video.
Post it, we can do a story. You can do a video every once in a while. Unlike the Arizona Cardinals, Tallman, there are no expectations for you. It's just whatever you bring to the table, we're ready to embrace. You know what I mean?
Sounds good.
Yeah,
All right.
I
We'll
negotiate like Jerry Jones too. I don't need your agent. If you want to talk about your contract, you can just come talk to me and we'll
handshake
talk
deal.
about it. Yeah, you don't need to make
Yeah.
a video.
Yeah, I like those. We'll do a handshake deal right here. All right. Keep an eye out for the Tallman ticket.
Okay. Let me.
Picks. We got to get our first win.
I was gonna say, does you think this will help you get your first win? Is it the pressure of the video that might be
that's going to help.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll be good.
Sounds like he folds under the bright lights, unfortunately.
Hey, when there's expectations, man, that's
yeah.
I'm all for a good underdog story, but
Mike, what did I tell you over the weekend? Your team can win, your fantasy team can win, or your bet can hit, but it can never be all three at the same time. It could be two of the three, but it can never be all three.
Nobody is that lucky, and I'm one of those people that was not that lucky this weekend. Anything else, Tallman? I don't.
No.
You done, Tallman?
Yeah.
All right, then I'll close it out. You guys, Chrissy said it. You know, as much as VSP Tallman is known as the betting guy of VSP, your boy threw down some bets during NFL Week 1. Now, granted, they were those little pissy change of odds given from DraftKings.
You got to step it up, Michael.
For Jalen Hurts touchdown. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Let the man bet how he likes.
I'm dipping my toes in. I'm building the catalog, and then we'll get to work. I did do my first parlay in a long time for the Arizona Cardinals. It was Arizona Cardinals heavy. I lost that bet because I bet 50-plus yards for James Conner, who he absolutely should have been able to do that. But that's the life we live. I'm also 0-1 in one of my fantasy leagues, the main one, our big money league, where right now, if you go to Valley Sports Plug YouTube, you can see our vlog from our draft day where we drafted at Big Dawes Airbnb in Arizona. What a fun time. We had some laughs, had a lot of beers, but go and check that out as well. The biggest thing for me, gentlemen, is I'm losing sleep over here because the Arizona Cardinals season opener is this Sunday against the Carolina Panthers, and your boy will be in attendance. First season opening game that I've probably been to in 15 years. And from going 6 years until that Washington Commanders last game in between to being in attendance for every game this season, I absolutely cannot wait to watch the Red Sea and watch this team get it done against lowly Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. I'm so pumped. You guys will be out there with me for a couple of games too. But until then, appreciate you guys as always. Chris, Tallman, love you.
Mike, it's always a pleasure. It's never a chore to have you here on the stream. And Tallman, you as well, man. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing out. I am excited. Of course, man. I am excited for football to be back. I can't stress that enough. Cardinals coming home. They should wipe the floor with the Carolina Panthers, and I think they need to make a statement. I think they are probably, if anyone's disappointed with how they performed in Week 1, it's probably them. A win's a win, we'll take it, but hopefully a little splash of cold water that they need to step their game up, and I think we'll see that in Week 2 at home in the Bird's Nest. It's going to be loud. Mike's going to be there. We're gonna be represented. Valley Sports Plug is going to be well represented, and then we'll talk about it. We got the Heat Check podcast in person coming at you in a couple weeks. Make sure you stay tuned for that. And then next Tuesday, live right here at 7 p.m. where you can find us. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Whether you're still with us live or listening back on the playback, we love you so much, and we will see you next time. For Mr. Benjamin and VSP Tallman, I'm Chris Patrick. Peace.